You know what else I had heard, and I said it a couple of times, was, and this was also something that just drove me nuts that I heard, is when people were like, well, black people are killing people all the time. And I'm like, if you don't see the difference between two black people on the streets killing each other and an officer killing a black person, then I don't know where we go from there, because it's the duty that this officer had. It's the fact that we gave him a badge and said, you have now a heightened responsibility to make sure the people around you stay safe. And degradation of that duty is going to unfortunately put you into criminal proceedings, which is what happens here. So you have the Fourth Amendment that says you will not be subject to unreasonable searches and seizures or excessive force, which is where this whole entire thing accumulates from. So it's determined. So what ends up happening kind of right afterwards, if you guys kind of remember, because I remember when they made the announcement, is right afterwards, the first announcement that's made is the police issue a statement saying Floyd died after a medical incident. A medical incident was what was first said. And that gives me goosebumps, because I honestly think it's that moment that sparked this racial injustice to it, is that the police department had these body cams, and thank God for them. Because I'll tell you, every department does not have body cams at all. Most of the cities around you, in the county that you're in, the city you're in, they do not have body cams. Some of them have some body cams. Where we're at, there's a couple cities that have, like, some of the officers have body cams, but not all of them. There is, I was very, very adamant about the fact that I believe that the body cams should not be turned off by an officer. That's a huge thing. We have officers that are turning off body cams, but thank God for the body cams. The statement that was issued by police, the same police that had access to those body cams, that could have watched them immediately, they make this statement, and I think that is where that insult to injury that came to everybody, that said, how dare you not value this life and are not going to hold these officers responsible. And so they then very quickly after that, they determine that they announce that they're going to do criminal charges, and they start by charging Chauvin. So he ends up going to trial on unintentional second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. So we'll go into those. We'll first talk about the difference between civil and criminal. Civil and criminal. So the family does sue the city of Minneapolis civilly. So civilly means that we're holding an entity responsible for this, monetarily responsible most of the time. But civil does not have any criminal penalties. Nobody's going to jail when a civil procedures take place. It is a lower standard, so it's easier to win a civil case than it is a criminal case. And what happened in that civil case?
The civil case, the family of Floyd, they went ahead and settled with the city of Minneapolis, and for $27 million.
$27 million. Money does not bring back a life, but they did it really quickly, too. I think it was really clear to the city that, and they immediately fired almost all the officers. I think all three of them, all four of them get fired immediately. And I think they realized that pretty quick on that we are very responsible for this. It was very obvious. And just the lack of remorse in the situation of a whole made the entire city just look like they were poorly qualified and poorly trained, which I know is not true to all everybody. It just was a very, very bad look on the situation.